Welcome to Let's Talk English Podcast. Learn English with podcast.
You've mentioned feeling like you're running on autopilot lately. Can you explain what that means for our listeners?
Absolutely, Evan. Running on autopilot means going through daily routines without much conscious thought, like waking up, scrolling through your phone, and working without really being present. It's surprisingly common, especially in our tech-driven world.
That resonates with many people. In fact, studies show that by age 35, 95% of our actions and thoughts are habitual and unconscious. How does this influence our ability to change or learn new things like English?
Great question. When most of our actions become habitual, positive, or negative, it can feel like we're stuck. But the good news is our brains are adaptable. We have the power to break out of autopilot and start making intentional choices, especially when learning a language.
That leads perfectly into a common misconception, the idea that our brains are hardwired and unchangeable. Can you shed some light on this myth, Erin?
Definitely. The notion that our brains are fixed is outdated. Modern neuroscience shows the brain is more like a living garden than a rigid machine. Every thought or habit is a seed we plant, shaping our mental landscape.
So, negative patterns like self-doubt are like weeds, while positive routines, such as practicing English, are like strong trees. Is this what scientists call neuroplasticity?
Exactly. Neuroplasticity means our brains are constantly reshaping themselves based on our actions, thoughts, and emotions. This gives everyone, not just young people, the ability to transform their habits and skills at any age.
With that in mind, let's talk about action versus motivation. Many people wait to feel inspired before making changes. Is that an effective strategy?
Actually, science says the opposite. Our brains respond to action, not just intention. Think of it like lighting a campfire. You don't wait for warmth, you strike the match first. Taking small steps is what prompts your brain to support and reinforce new behaviors.
So even 5 minutes of daily English practice is more powerful than waiting for the perfect mood?
Absolutely. Consistent action signals to your brain that something is important, triggering the release of feel-good chemicals and building momentum. Over time, this rewires your brain and makes the desired behavior easier.
Let's go deeper into habits. How do repeated actions actually shape our identity according to neuroscience?
Repeated behaviors lay down neural pathways, much like laying train tracks. Every time you repeat a habit, good or bad, your brain strengthens that route, making it the default path. Over time, these habits form your identity.
So, developing the habit of speaking English daily isn't just about language skill, but about becoming a confident communicator?
Exactly. Small, daily habits accumulate, gradually sculpting who you are. You don't need a total overhaul, just intentional, repeated actions to build the version of yourself you want to become.
That's powerful. But with distractions everywhere, how does focus play into brain rewiring?
Focus acts like a spotlight. Whatever you consistently pay attention to, your brain prioritizes and builds. If you focus on learning and growth, those pathways strengthen. If you constantly multitask or scroll, your brain wires for distraction and shallow thinking.
So, engaging deeply with English content, even reflecting on it, helps your brain grow in the right direction?
Yes, deep engagement sends a strong message. This matters. Your brain then allocates resources to build and reinforce those neural connections, making learning more effective and lasting.
Let's shift to emotions. How do repeated emotional responses become ingrained in our brains?
Emotions are like glue for memories. They make experiences stick. If you repeatedly react with anger or worry, those emotional circuits get stronger, eventually becoming part of your mood, temperament, or even identity.
Is it possible to interrupt these patterns and avoid being trapped by negative emotions?
Absolutely. Start by noticing when you're caught in an emotional loop. Instead of stewing in it, pause, reflect, and redirect your attention. Over time, you retrain your brain to respond more flexibly and calmly.
Now, stress often gets a bad reputation. But is all stress harmful to our brains?
Not at all. Short bursts of controlled stress like public speaking or intense exercise help your brain adapt and grow. It's like a workout for your nervous system, enhancing resilience and learning capacity.
But constant stress seems dangerous. What happens if we never recover from it?
Chronic stress without recovery leads to burnout, fatigue, and even illness. Think of stress like fire. In a fireplace, it's useful, but left unchecked, it's destructive. The key is to balance challenges with rest and reflection.
Speaking of recovery, let's talk about sleep. Many people view it as optional, especially when trying to be productive. What does science say?
Sleep is non-negotiable for brain health. During deep sleep, your brain consolidates memories, prunes unnecessary connections, and reinforces important pathways. Skipping sleep is like planting a garden, but never watering it, nothing grows.
So even short naps can help, but deep, uninterrupted sleep is essential for lasting change?
Exactly. Sleep isn't laziness, it's when your brain does its most important behind-the-scenes work. Honor your rest if you want to transform your mind or master new skills, including English.
We've covered a lot of ground, and our listeners have heard plenty of idioms and advanced vocabulary today. Charlotte, can you help us unpack some of these expressions?
Of course, Evan. Let's break down tricky phrases like run on autopilot, which means acting without conscious thought, and flip the switch, which refers to making a sudden change. These idioms make your English sound more natural.
How can listeners practice using these phrases in daily conversations?
Try writing example sentences or use them when chatting with friends. The more you repeat them, the more automatic they become, just like building any new habit in your brain.
As we wrap up, what's the most important step listeners can take right now to start rewiring their brains and improving their English?
Start small and repeat consistently. Download our free PDF, reflect on today's takeaways, and practice just 5 minutes daily. Remember, every small action is a building block for lasting change.
Brilliant advice. Your brain is always changing. You just have to guide that change intentionally. Any final words for our audience, Charlotte?
Stay curious, stay intentional, and keep practicing. The journey may be gradual, but every step shapes the person and the communicator you're becoming. See you next time